Good morning. My name is Brooke and I am Michelle's good friend and fellow neighbor and fellow mascara artist. I just wanted to come on and go over some troubleshooting tips and kind of if you're having some issues with your makeup, I want to give you some ideas to help fix that. I was new to cream-based makeup. Hey, Ivana. When I first started using mascara back in December. It was a big learning curve because I had only used liquid foundation. So it took me a little bit of trial and error to get used to what worked best for me. And so I want to share what has worked for me, and what works for me does not work for everyone. So I want you I'm going to give you multiple ideas to try different things so you're not stuck with just one way. And please feel free to, post any questions that you have so I can address them. If you're catching the replay, that's fine. We can address it later. First things first, clean brushes. That is huge. So you want to clean your brushes every other day. If not, because it's a cream-based makeup, it's going to get, and any makeup brush you want to clean regularly, but it'll get stuck in the brush and then it's just going to be more streaky and it's not going to have a good application. So you want to clean your brushes every other day. We are out of our Restore brush cleaner right now. They're reformulating it and they should be back in stock in a couple weeks. I wouldn't wait a couple weeks. So what I would do is, in the meantime, you can use a 70% rubbing alcohol. You want to make sure it's 70%. Anything higher is going to ruin your brush. You also have a year warranty on your brushes. So, but you want to be careful when you are cleaning your brushes not to get any of the cleaner down here in the base, because it can weaken the glue and then the bristles can come out. So all you would do with the 70% rubbing alcohol is just kind of spray the brush or spray your paper towel and just kind of clean it like that. So clean brushes is key to a good, flawless application. Also, clean sponges. So what I do to clean my sponge is I have this Neutrogena facial bar, and I get my sponge wet and I just kind of, see how it's kind of like divoted? I just rub my sponge over it, my wet sponge, and then I just use my thumb to get all the makeup out. So I do that after each makeup application. I clean my sponge. So those are two very important things. Also, your skincare. You want to have a good foundation of your face. It's like if you paint your walls, you're going to sand the walls and get them prepped before you paint. You're not just going to throw paint on it. Same with your face. So if you have dry areas, the makeup, any makeup you wear, not just mascara, any kind of makeup you wear is just going to sit in those dry areas and it's not going to look good. So you want to make sure that you're exfoliating regularly. One exfoliator that I love, and if you have one that you love, that's great. I'm a former esthetician, by the way, 14 years as an esthetician. So skincare is a huge deal to me. But this stuff is called Cure, and this is a great gentle exfoliator. You can get that on Amazon, and all you would do is wash your face and then rub that in, and it's kind of like, think about like when you have a suntan and you're taking a shower and all that dead skin is just kind of like rolling off. That's what that exfoliator does. So exfoliating your skin, having a good foundation for your skin, before you put your makeup on is definitely key. Yes, Michelle, that stuff is awesome. All right, I have a whole list of my stuff so that I stay on track. So I'm gonna start doing my makeup and give you my pointers as I go. So, Stay Spray. This stuff is our setting spray. Great stuff. I used this as my primer and as my setting spray. up until just recently, because I live in Texas, it's humid, and I am finding that this is not working for me right now, just because it's so humid. So something that I have found that is working for me is the Becca Evermatte Poreless Priming Perfector. I use this as my primer. It's great for oilier skin. I don't feel like I have super oily skin, but it just helps, I feel like, my makeup to stay on a little bit better. So you can use any primer, but you wanna make sure it's a water-based. If it's silicone-based, which a lot of primers are, the makeup will not go on well with a silicone-based primer. So, and the Stay Spray is great as a primer, but if you are using it as a primer and you're not loving it, try avoiding the Stay Spray as a primer and try doing without the primer. Try it that way. And if you feel like you still need a primer, I really recommend this Becca. So I rubbed it in my fingers to warm it up, and then I'm gonna pat it in. Yes, water-based primer. All right, so I'm just patting it in. I'm not putting it everywhere. I'm putting it in the areas that I get oily. So right here I get oily, all in my T-zone. I'm just patting it in. Okay, and I already moisturized beforehand. That's another thing. You wanna moisturize and you don't wanna right away put your makeup on. So I always, right after I get out of my shower, I put my moisturizer, or I wash or brush my teeth, put on my moisturizer. Oh, thank you. I put on my moisturizer and I let it sit for about 10 minutes. So maybe go look for what you're gonna wear for the day or do something, get your coffee or whatever, but wait 10 minutes to let your moisturizer really soak in. Otherwise, it's just gonna be like cream-based makeup over your moisturizer. All right, so something that I had a problem with in the beginning was I felt like when I was using the brush, so I started off with the 30-second hack brush. I start everyone off with this brush because it literally does everything. This end can contour and be for blush, and this end is great for putting on your highlight. So I started using this, and I felt like I could see the lines just under my eyes. That was the only area I was having a hard time with. So I continued for a long time using my concealer, my own concealer, and that's totally fine. You don't have to use everything mascara. So I was using Bye Bye under my eyes, and whatever. Another good one is Tarte Shape Tape. Those are just my suggestions. But now I only use the mascara under my eyes, unless I have really, really dark circles. Then I'll use the other ones. So one thing I found that instead of using a brush, I always just use my fingers. So I'm gonna go in with my fingers. And also, you wanna make sure that you're using a light hand when you're applying your makeup, because some people feel like it's too heavy on their face or too wet or it's not lasting all day. It could be because you're putting too much product on. And so you wanna definitely use a light hand when you're doing your face. I have it heavier under my eyes, but I'm gonna pick it up with the Perfector sponge. And everyone's different. Some people do their whole face and then they do their Perfector sponge at the end and blend at the end. I like to do it after each step. That's just me, but you do it however works best for you. Another thing with the Perfector sponge, in the beginning when I started using this makeup, I had never used a sponge. I'm like a makeup freak, and I can't believe, well, I had used a sponge, but I would always use it just to kind of blend the bottom, you know, make sure I didn't have that line. And I was always using it dry. I didn't even know what I was doing. Anyways, you want to get this, run it under the water and make sure it gets really springy. Like you'll feel it when it's all the way through. Make sure you squeeze it out, and then I always take my hand towel and dry it really good. Because if it's too wet, it's gonna like lift off your makeup and then you're gonna have to reapply it. So you want it just damp, like lightly damp, not super damp. All right, so like I said, I start everyone out with this brush because it can do everything. I have now found that I really love applying my, my highlight and contour with the Detail Hack. You do whatever is best for you, but this is the brush I prefer to use. Like I said, still you can use the 30-second hack. So I'm gonna go in with my highlight color, a light hand. You don't need a lot. And it is buildable, so if you feel like you need more coverage, you just add more. And just make sure that you're just dabbing it. You don't want to like slide it because then you're going to get too much product. Make sure it's on a clean brush. So I'm just stippling this in to the skin. And also, if you're finding that that you can see the makeup sitting in your pores, or you can just see it on your skin, it's usually a color issue, or it could be you just need to exfoliate your skin. But if it's a color issue, usually the solution is just to shade up a color. We try our best to color match from a picture if we can't get you in person, but sometimes, you know, the lighting isn't perfect or whatnot, and so we try our best. But the lovely thing is we have free exchange, free return, or free shipping, and you can exchange or return within 30 days. So